Hello?
Yes, hello, Mr. Sean Joseph.
Yeah, speaking.
Yes, my name is Craig Bully. I'm calling from Volkswagen Group Canada.
Hi.
Yes, is now a good time?
Yes.
I appreciate that. Goal of my call is to follow up on your file here.
Okay.
I understand that there has been some extended concerns with your Volkswagen Passat.
Right.
You've been working with the dealership as well as with our customer relations to try and resolve it.
Yes.
Now, from what I understand, it's a series of electrical issues, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And on the most recent visit, which was, I believe, last Friday to your dealership, if I remember correctly.
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday, thank you. They did have some work performed on the vehicle, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was performed on the vehicle? I apologize. I'll be honest, I haven't spoken directly with your dealership as of yet.
Well, basically, I'll tell you what was supposed to be done and what was done. So they were supposed to fix the mirrors. They were supposed to fix the backup camera, and there was something else. The key. Sometimes the car doesn't unlock or lock or start. So they everything I'm about to tell you that they did has been done multiple times before. So they replaced the antennas, they replaced the camera for the backup camera, and they also did some reprogramming of the media center thing that where the backup camera displays on. They did nothing about the mirrors. So basically, when I picked up the car, I got home. I went back out maybe a few hours later. I reversed out of my driveway. The backup camera didn't work. So that hasn't been resolved. I think the next day when I was at work, the backup camera didn't work, and also the car said it couldn't see the key. So that also hasn't been fixed. And my mirrors are still messed up.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I mean, obviously we've looked at a few things when looking through this file. We've offered assistance to trade this vehicle, if I remember correctly, among some other things.
You guys offered assistance to trade after I begged for that, but you only offered me $3,000 off of the new car. But my loss is huge. The first day I got this car, I think the second day, the backup camera wasn't working. I complained to the dealer. I think the day after that, the mirrors were an issue, and I complained about that. And a few weeks later, all the issues started to show themselves, and I've been complaining about that. So this car had a problem, I suspect, before I got it. And now I'm in a situation where I could lose money because of this car that I think was defective when I got it.
Well, no, obviously we want you in the vehicle and enjoying it. And obviously want it to be working properly, right? So I'm going to make some suggestions.
Okay.
And please bear with me.
Okay.
To have the vehicle brought back in, obviously have a loaner vehicle ready, one that's comparable, so that we can just simply have you swap the vehicles and have the vehicle for as long as we would need. I want our technical quality manager to hopefully be on the scene at some point during the vehicle stay at the dealership, where we can have the vehicle checked to its fullest extent and be able to see where any problems could be originating from. I'm not technically inclined myself, but if I was to guess, it's probably all from one source. About that, for yourself, once we are happy that the vehicle is fixed, we have a couple options that we can look at. Now, I guess I should ask, is this a lease or is it a finance?
It's a finance.
A finance, okay. Did you purchase an extended warranty for this vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Obviously you wanted to protect your investment. So.
But to be honest with you, I have warranty now, and it's not really helping me, right?
Well, warranty is there to cover you so that you don't have any expenses for repairs. But in a case where we're unable to find the concern, it's a little bit different, right? I understand that up until now it's been a major inconvenience for yourself, right? I'm not going to discount that. It's obvious it's been a long situation for yourself, right? Obviously, the warranty is there, but in a perfect world, we'd be able to find everything and solve it the first time, right? But as you know, that's not necessarily the world we live in. Sometimes these sort of things do happen, right? So I obviously want to see you at the end of this taken care of, right? Now, when we're looking at, for example, if you're mentioning that you have an extended warranty, the next thing I would be able to offer you is 3 months of payment, so reimbursing you 3 months payment on the vehicle. And this is, again, after we've had a chance to fully inspect and do the necessary repairs, and that the vehicle, we deem it working, and that you're satisfied with it as well.
My only problem is that because these problems are so intermittent, that I will never feel comfortable that the car is fixed at this point. Because the first time I took it, they changed whatever they changed. Then they said it's working. Then I was confident, okay, it's working. Then I took it out. A few days later, everything is back.
Right.
So then you guys are going to tell me, like, this is how it's been for the last almost 1 year. It's fixed. Then I take it, it's not fixed. And how would I ever feel comfortable? You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that at this point, I don't know what else to say except for desperate times and desperate measures, right? I mean, obviously, we want to have the vehicle for an extended period of time to do testing on multiple days, not just, to perform a recommended repair and then send you back on your way, so to speak, right? So that's why I was mentioning before, a loaner vehicle that's comparable to yours.
And what's considered comparable?
Well, I mean, usually our loaner program through our warranty covers anything up to $35 a day. I'm saying I'm going to raise that so that it, if possible, even another Passat.
But usually the dealers don't have Passat. All the dealers have given me base level Jettas. I've never seen a Passat.
Right, and they have their own loaners. Right, each dealership, as an independent enterprise, they'll put cars in service as their own loaners.
Okay.
But they also have an agency that they go through for rentals and things like that, right? So all I'm trying to say is I want you to be inconvenienced as little as possible.
Okay.
Right?
But why won't you guys just take this car back?
Well,
it's so difficult. I mean...
Well, and I can understand any customer's point of view. If it were that simple, then we'd be doing it. Let's put it that way.
I just want to understand why it's not that simple. Like,
well, I mean, it's tough to get into costs and things like that with a retail customer, and I don't mean to, act like as if I'm hiding something. But let's just say the costs are extreme. And then we have warranty just for that, right? It's not like, for example, if you buy a $100 toaster at Walmart, that Walmart will simply say we'll simply take it back because a customer doesn't like it, for example, right? I mean, we're definitely in a different ballgame, right? The costs for taking back a vehicle are actually quite extreme.
So you would rather have the customer suffer. So basically, you guys are going to take the car for a long time?
No, I mean, we have a warranty that, and again, this is usually something I don't get into with customers, but the factory pays for all warranty work.
Okay.
We are an importer ourselves, right? So, again, it's really tough to explain, but not only... Sorry, it's really very difficult to explain, Mr. Joseph. I apologize, but the costs are extreme. That's the best way to put it. And it's really a last resort that we look at. And I'm sorry that it's dragged on for this long. It really should not have. But we do need a lot of time with this vehicle. I sincerely apologize. And like I said, I hope to inconvenience you as little as possible with the drop-off and exchange of a rental. And then at the end, I know you're saying that it's an intermittent problem, but do allow it some time once you have it returned. And I mean, I will keep in contact with you myself, right? And we can talk about reimbursing you for monthly payments or some form of compensation, right? Because obviously, I do want to ensure that you are compensated for everything that's occurred up until now.
But that's what's confusing to me. I can understand what you're saying, but what's confusing to me is that you guys would invest so much time and resources to fix this car, and then you're saying you will reimburse me monthly payments. But isn't this like also a cost?
It is a cost, but I'm saying, and again, I'm not going to get into numbers, but a repurchase of the vehicle, the cost is extreme.
Okay, but let's say,
right.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you about it, but let's say
right.
you guys take it back and I get it back and it's still not fixed.
Well, and we may need more time if that's the case, but that's why I'm saying that we need to have an extended period of time with the vehicle, right, where the dealer can test it daily and make sure that it is indeed fixed prior to giving it back to you. The whole idea of simply doing a recommended repair and then returning it to you saying it's fixed, it doesn't really fly in that situation.
Okay.
Right?
My last question.
Yes.
So basically, I'm going to describe the problem with the backup camera.
Okay.
For you. So at first, it was as soon as I turn on the car, the backup, I refer to the backup camera display as the media center. So as soon as I would turn on the car, the media center would give this error: Park Pilot is not available. So as soon as I put it reverse, there would be no camera. I put it in park, I would put it back in reverse, no camera. This is the first symptoms when I first got the car. So they changed the media center. Then the symptoms slightly changed where I would turn on the car and go in reverse. And as soon as I go in reverse, it would say Park Pilot is currently not available. So they changed something. I don't know what they did. I'd have to read it. So after that, it became less intermittent. So I would put the car in reverse. And sometimes I would just get a blank screen or a blurry, fuzzy picture. And then I'm going to fast forward to recently, where the QTM guy and the tech changed some codes. So now when I put the car in reverse, sometimes I get the Park Pilot not available. When I put in park, I also get that now. So park and reverse, I'm getting it. But what's funny to me is they lent me a Jetta, 2017 Jetta, and as I was at the dealership, I put the car in reverse and I got the same message. Like, the car had 10 kilometers on it, and I just sat in it and put it in reverse, and the same message came on. It has a very similar display as mine, but it doesn't have the navigation thing. Also, when I search online for this error, there's a lot of people with Volkswagen saying they get the same problem, but there's just no fix for this. They've never been able to fix it. So I'm wondering, is this a global problem with this media center? Like,
I see.
Is it actually possible to fix this thing? The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is the mirror down feature. Are you familiar with that feature?
Yes.
So the mirror goes down and then it goes back up, as you know, when you drive. So my initial notice of a problem with this thing is I would reverse, it would go down, and when I drive, it doesn't go back up. And I have maybe 12 years experience with Volkswagen mirror down, and all my other cars have gone back up. So what I did was I went to several Volkswagen dealers to test them, those that have the cars, the Passats with this feature. I tested maybe 5. 3 out of the 5 did the same thing as mine, and 2 were perfect. And the other problem I have with my car that I can't replicate with the other cars because it's so intermittent is that my driver's side mirror, like let's say I'm on the highway, would for some reason just point to the ground, and I can't adjust it until I stop and pull over and actually move it with my hand. So I'm just wondering, can these problems actually be fixed if I'm seeing it replicated in other cars?
Okay. Well, usually in a case where we know that I'm going to give you an example. This thing can only be fixed by a forthcoming software update, we'll say as an example, right? Usually if we have a case where that's what we're presented with, we don't tend to try and throw things at the vehicle or do different suggestions to try and resolve it. We know that something's coming, and we leave it at that, right? So I'm going to say that although I understand where you're coming from, because it looks like you've done quite a bit of research to understand that, this is pretty prevalent. If it was something that was unresolvable, I'm very confident that I would know, and we'd be having a different conversation, right? I'm going to correspond with the dealership, and I'm going to correspond with, as you know, the TQM, Technical Quality Manager.
Okay.
I'm going to ensure that we're all on the same page as to what we need to do going forward. I'm also going to give you my phone number here. It's yes, when you're ready.
905, I guess?
Yes, 905-428. 5841. And my name again, it's Craig. Last name is Beaulieu.
You're from Quebec?
Born but raised here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. Joseph, I mean, in all honesty, 11 months, it's a long time. I fully get that. And, the whole point is to, when you buy a new car, is to enjoy it, right? And it looks like that's not been the case.
Right.
I am just hoping that you can bear with us a little bit longer, right? And like I said, the whole, quote, bearing with us phase from here on, I want to make it as smooth as possible for yourself. So please allow me some time, but after which, yes, I would like to ensure that you're adequately compensated, right? And I guess what I was putting forth in terms of monthly payments being covered, does that satisfy you? Or would that satisfy you, I guess?
Can you cover the entire last 11 months?
We wouldn't be able to do that, but at the very least, maybe 4, for example, 4 months.
And this would go directly to Volkswagen Credit?
Yes. Well, we would have 2 options. We can do that so that your forthcoming months after I process the payment wouldn't be charged. Even though it's a separate entity, we obviously have our accounting that works together, right? So, yes, we'd be able to do a funds transfer from Volkswagen Canada to Volkswagen Credit. And like I said, they just wouldn't charge your account for the 4 months. Or alternatively, we can simply forward that to yourself by check.
Direct to Volkswagen Credit is fine. But I just don't understand the other thing that bothered me with the dealer is they told me they couldn't find any car with a mirror down feature. So I said that's fine. But the guy told me as cars came in for service, he did see a few of them, and they replicated the same behavior.
Okay.
So let's say this mirror down feature problem cannot be fixed. To me, that's not really acceptable because, like I said, I've had 12 years, and my last 2 Tiguans, which were on lease, the mirror down worked perfect. So if this car's mirror down feature doesn't work as I thought it would, as the sales guy told me that it is as the Tiguan, then I would have never bought this car. Because from my angle of view, when it goes reverse and I go drive and it goes back up, it's kind of pointing to the ground. What I want to see is a direct view straight of the cars next to me. I don't want to see the floor. What am I looking at the floor for? And then I have to adjust it while I'm driving. So if this is how this car is supposed to work, when I know it shouldn't because I found 2 that work perfect, then I wouldn't have bought this car. So if that is, let's say that is the case, that they cannot resolve this problem, what is the next step?
Well, and one thing that we need to be mindful of is that there will always be some variance. It'll never go back to exactly the same position. But if we're talking as extreme as you are, then that's outside of, and off the top of my head, I can't say what the tolerances are. But there's a certain percentage in terms of a variance that it will go back, but maybe not to the exact same spot, but it should go back to roughly the same spot, right? Is the best way to put it, right?
Go back to roughly the best.
Okay.
Because if I can notice it when I'm driving, then it's obviously way off than a minor difference, right? If it's noticeable to me, then it's a big difference. And why would my car be like this and the 2 others that I tested are working properly?
Right.
I don't think that's fair. And your book, even your own book says it will go back to its previous location. The brochures say it'll go back to the proper angle. Although the wording is different between each source I check, they all say the same thing, that the mirror will go back. Not that there'll be, let's say, a centimeter variance.
Okay.
So if that is the case with this particular car, if they cannot fix that problem, then what? Are you guys going to tell me, well, it's within our tolerable thing?
Within our tolerances, yeah.
I'm going to have to see a document that was given to me that says that, because I was not aware that the mirror down feature would be such a big variance.
Okay. Well, if that's where we need to go, obviously I'll look at that myself. But I'd like some time, like I said, to reach out to the dealership and correspond with our technical quality manager as well, see when can be in there next so that we can have the vehicle in. And like I said, I'll arrange for a comparable vehicle.
Okay.
Right?
When you say comparable, is it going to be a Highline or?
Well, I mean that I wouldn't be able to see offhand, right? If there's none available, then that there won't be anything I can do for it. But I obviously want something better than a base Jetta. Is all I'm getting at, right?
What would you consider better than a base Jetta? I just want to have an idea of what the most I can expect.
Right. Well, I mean, Mr. Joseph, we have fleet deals with Enterprise and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Or companies like that, I should say. For rental vehicles. Okay. So, what is available? The best of what is available, I guess, is the best way to put it. Is what I'm going to want to get reserved. It's always through the dealership because they would work with the agency. It's not ourselves, right? Even though, we do sell through our dealerships to the agencies and we work with them, but we it's tough to explain, but it would be the service department that would be reserving it, right? Okay, so, yeah. But yes, I mean, obviously, like I said, I want you to be as comfortable as possible and as inconvenienced as little as possible from here on. So, and again, I mean, obviously, I've said it once, but I do appreciate that you've been patient with all this. So with that, I will be in contact with you early next week. If not Monday, then Tuesday at the latest.
Okay.
Okay. Just please allow me some time, like I said, to reach out to the dealer and for lack of better words, get the ball rolling.
Okay. My last question. So, is it normal practice for dealerships in Quebec not to buy back cars that have defects like this?
Is it normal practice for dealers to not buy back cars? I've worked for 3 companies in the auto industry. Okay. It's all within the GTA. Greater Toronto area, I should say. Okay. And not one has ever bought back something bought back a vehicle, I should say, until every single option has been exhausted. Okay. So this has been very long for yourself. Yeah. It really should not have been. I think that, and I'm just going to give my personal opinion, which, usually as customer service we're not supposed to, but, to reach a, quote, last resort or a resolution should not have taken this long. So that's part of the reason why I'm involved from here on out. And again, I really do apologize.
Okay. So next 4 months, I'm not going to be billed, basically.
Well, and like I said, I want to make sure that the vehicle's in working order before we provide that form of compensation, right? And that you're satisfied with it as well, right? Okay. So I mean, to process the payment now wasn't really my intention, right? Okay. Obviously, like I said, we want to have time with the vehicle. I mean, if our hands are up in the air, for example, and we're not able to, and we see the problems, we can't fix it, and we've given our best try, then yes, although we don't like to do it, we may need to look at a repurchase.
Okay, but
right?
when you say you see the problem with camera, I had taken the car to, I don't know if you know the dealers around here, but VW Fontaville downtown.
Okay. Yeah.
And as soon as I got there, put the car in reverse, I got the Park Pilot error on the display, and I showed the technician there. And the first thing he told me is change the backup camera. Well, my backup camera has been changed 3 times. So this has been witnessed by everyone that's looked at it. But as you said, they changed parts, but they never really tested. And because it's so intermittent, then that's why I'm a little concerned that this is just going to be more delays. I think you know what I'm saying.
Yes, and I mean, like I was saying before, I don't want to have it overnight and then return it. I don't want to have it even for 2 or 3 days. 1 or 2 weeks is what I'm looking at. Right. I want the necessary work to be done. I want our technical quality manager to actually be there on site if possible. Right. To actually work on the vehicle himself. So no, I don't just want to do what's been done up until now. It'd be an exercise in futility.
Okay. Last thing I'm going to tell you.
No problem.
The first time they changed my media center, the dashboard wasn't even put back on properly. I had to push things in because they were all like sticking out. The second time they changed my mirror, my outside mirror. No, the first time they changed my left side outside mirror, the cover was broken. So every time they work on the car, something is messed up. So how do I know that you guys are not going to rip the car apart, and then I'm left with all kind of vibrations everywhere, and
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough question to answer because it's something that nobody ever strives for, right? But I can't lie either. As you know, like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years for 3 companies. Sometimes those sort of things do happen. So I see your point, and I don't have a straight answer for you. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to give you fluff and say like, oh no, that'll be no problem, right? That's not how I work, right? And I don't want to lie to you either, but obviously we'll have to work with our technical quality manager to ensure that the vehicle is in a good state before it's given back.
Okay.
That's the best that I can say.
Okay. And when do you think this is all going to take place?
Well, I would say, if I was to guess, probably over the next week or so, you'll be able to bring the vehicle in. And then when our rep will actually be there, I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to check with them because, they have appointments with dealers, and things like that. So when exactly, I don't know right now. But and that's why I wanted to reach out to you Monday or at latest Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that this has been tough, and I can see how after 11 months you're looking for, a solid plan, a concrete plan, and you want results. And, I get that. Right. So, thank you again for your patience, and I'm sorry that things are a little up in the air right now, but it'll be myself working on this. So, obviously, we all want the same resolution for you, right? Okay, but yes, sorry, is this the best number to reach you at?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. We have mine at the same time. And sorry, you know what? I'll even give you my email address. It's real simple. First name dot last name.
Okay.
At vw.ca. Okay. But yes, I will be following up with you early next week.
Okay. Can you just spell your name so I know I have it right?
Not a problem. So, again, first name Craig. Okay. And then last name B for Bravo, EAU.
Okay.
And L for Lima, IEU. Okay. And again at vw.ca.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, again, thank you for taking the time, and again, I appreciate that you've been patient with all this. And okay. I'll be following up with you early next week.
Okay, I'll send you the list of stuff that are issues with this car.
Well, that sounds great. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thanks.
And take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.